important thing, that how have you overcome on the obstacle on the way, from the family, from the society, from the colleagues, wherever it has come from. And this will be very helpful for all the women, aspiring entrepreneurs, to build that mindset. So, Sweetie ji, coming to you, please share that what any one incident, which will be very helpful for all our audience.
देखिए, obstacle is like the glass half filled, half empty. There is an opportunity in every obstacle. There is an advantage in every adversity. That is what I would always look at it. ये thought आज मैं बोल पा रही हूँ because I have trained my mind in many ways to look at the past in a very different viewpoint, in a very different outlook. What you did say some time back, Pankaj. I want to share particularly one instance which is an obstacle which I would not say anybody created for us, but we created it for ourselves in our heads. So as women, as possibly you call the flag bearer of ghar ki izzat, your conditioning is such that your output is equivalent to your sacrifices. Your contributions in your family is equivalent to you being silently putting your priorities behind and everybody else's priorities above you. And finally, your importance, or जिसको हम लोग corporate language में बोलते हैं, your value proposition is based on the fact that what others tell you about yourself. I'm a good mother. You can't say that. My mother is a good mother. I have a good wife. Or my daughter is very she's very enterprising or loyal. I think my advice to every audience who is listening or trying to understand that, did I sign up for this? कभी कभी होता है ना, आप सुबह उठते हैं, you are not in your best of your mood, and you are just thinking, because what happened the day before, ऑफिस में हो, घर पे हो, सोसाइटी में हो, आपके बिजनेस में हो, आपको लगता है डिड आई साइन अप फॉर दिस, मेरे को ये जरूरत है करने की, बिकॉज यू स्टार्ट सर्चिंग फॉर पर्पस, यू स्टार्ट सर्चिंग फॉर योर पैशन. तो मेरे लिए मेरे लाइफ का सबसे बड़ा इंस्टेंस था, आई हैव हैड द करेज टू ऑलवेज ट्राई विदाउट थिंकिंग बीइंग जज्ड. आई थिंक एक ये एंटरप्रेन्योर माइंडसेट का सबसे बड़ा pivotal point is, how do you train your mind to think that you have a growth mindset? अभी आपने बहुत जगह पे सुना होगा critical thinking, design thinking, growth mindset, but ये बहुत ही basic सी चीज है. This is like, when you open your fridge, you see a certain set of vegetables and you decide how you are going to cook and make that day because you have a constrained environment. That for me is growth mindset. Work on your strengths. Don't focus on your weaknesses. Accept the constraints. Don't be a superhero with or without a cape. कभी अपने आप को जरूरत नहीं बोलने के लिए कि कुछ भी आ जाए मैं कर दूंगी. No. But please ask for help. I think as women, one of the fundamental learnings that we have to change at the grassroots level is हम help नहीं मांगते हैं. When try holding a phone and a piece of mouse like this for 9 minutes, your muscles will be completely numb. And here we are talking about having a 3.5 kilo baby for 9 months inside your body. So when you're going through that situation, that is the only time the society has allowed us to ask for help. My request to every woman, every girl, everyone who's trying to make a mark, asking for help doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you self-aware that you know what is your capability and what you can focus. And it makes the other person in your life, like how Rena ji put earlier, that we create a tribe, right? It's not about ourselves, it's about everybody. So जब आप ही खुद अपने obstacle बन चुके हो, that you have told that I will not ask for help, then people don't help you. So I think our orientation has to be in a way where we recognize an opportunity. That's very important. आपको पता भी तो चलना चाहिए that there is something there. How do you look at that till you are concentrating on the baggage you are carrying? When you're trying to overcome an obstacle, look at the way how you can critically think. This is the box. Shift outside the box. Everything is here. The noise is here. Can you hear the voice that is outside? The moment you look at that, that obstacle becomes an opportunity. It is like वो आप में से किसी ने अगर रामचरितमानस में एक सुंदरा कांड का एक पाठ होता है जो प्रेग्नेंट औरतों को बोला जाता है पढ़ने के लिए, उसमें बहुत अच्छी एक सीख है कि जितनी भी बड़ी मुश्किल है, एकदम लाइक अ मोल हिल, सरसों के दाने जैसे फुस होके चला जाता है, is because you are ready to face it. There is I'm not exactly remembering a quotation, but it is right put up here in front of my laptop. 90% of the things you cannot control. 90% of the things are outside your capacity to control. It is only the 10% how you react controls the 90%. तो अगर उस 10% जो कि इतना छोटा सा परसेंटेज, अगर हम उसी पे कंट्रोल करें and not get completely worked up, be self-reliant, obstacles आते जाएंगे, overcome होते जाएंगे. Another last thing I want to take 40 seconds and say is, as women, we should stop chasing perfection. Good is the best that you can get. Perfect is the enemy of good. We just cannot accept anything that is good. So I'm going to add on what Manjari and Raina told earlier. You are the best version of yourself. Live with that best version and every day try to be better than yesterday. So automatically क्या होता है ना कि आपके पास कोई benchmark नहीं है where you're trying to hit and say that I want to become this. But what you're inspiring is you're inspiring your own obstacles. Thank you, Pankaj.
Amazing. अभी ये वर्ड्स कम पड़ रहे हैं मेरे को. आई डू नॉट नो, यू नो. और एक और चीज जो मेरे को लगती है ना, व्हाट आई ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू फील, कि बहुत जल्दी गिल्ट का शिकार हो जाते हैं हम लोग. बहुत जल्दी किसी ने कुछ आकर के बोल दिया और आप यू आर इन दैट थॉट, वो दिन भर में वो थॉट में ही गलते रहे, पिघलते रहे, भूल ही गए क्या थे, क्या सोचा था सुबह, क्या करना चाहिए था. ये मैं अक्सर सेल्स की जब ट्रेनिंग लेता हूँ ना तो उनको बताता हूँ, व्हेन योर कस्टमर इज रिजेक्टिंग यू. So I always used to tell people that when your first call, if you are going to meet a customer and he really rejects you, what do? वो फर्स्ट कॉल, वो फर्स्ट इंसल्ट, वो फर्स्ट जो रिजेक्शन हुआ है वो इतना डोमिनेट हो गया माइंड के ऊपर कि हम आगे आने वाले सारे कॉल खराब कर लेते हैं. तो मैं उनको हमेशा बोलता हूँ, whenever you are rejected ना, बाहर आओ, यूं करो, ऐसे do this, and your next customer do not know that कि आपके साथ में कुछ हुआ है. उसके पास ऐसे जाओ जैसे आपके पास में 10 जितने पिछले 10 के 10 कॉल हुए वहां 100% सक्सेस आप क्लोज करके आ रहे हो. So that is why especially women's के साथ में मैं अपने ऑफिस में देखता हूँ, there are lot of girls are there, बहुत न्यू एज की लड़कियां होती हैं, सब होती हैं, and they expect कि आप उनको देखो और देखते तुरंत एकदम बिल्कुल तारीफ कर दो कि एकदम बहुत अच्छी लग रही हो और ये है और आज आपने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, ये किया. मैं एक दूसरी चीज है, मैं भी थोड़ा सा पता नहीं इमोशनल हो रहा हूँ सुन करके, मतलब स्वीटी के थॉट्स को, कि हम अपने लिए ये जो होती है ना अपनी की ऑफ हैप्पीनेस इन द हैंड्स ऑफ अदर्स, हम बहुत जल्दी दे देते हैं. कि मेरे बॉस ने आकर के बोल दिया, अरे क्या बात है स्वीटी, यू आर एसेट फॉर द ब्रेन कैपिटल यार, वी वांट पीपल लाइक. तो स्वीटी बहुत खुश हो गई. एंड पता लगा किसी दिन परफॉर्मेंस नहीं हुआ, एंड देयर आर 100 रीजंस फॉर नॉन परफॉर्मेंस. चीजें टाइम पे नहीं हुई, मैंने अपना फॉर्मेट नहीं भेजा, कुछ भी हुआ, हेल्थ इश्यू हो सकते हैं. उसके बाद में, अरे स्वीटी व्हाट इज दिस, आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग दिस इज नॉट गुड एंड आई एम रियली डिसअपॉइंटेड. तो वो क्या निराश हो जाएंगे? नो, I am what I am. I know my strength, right? So this should be the way we need to think. So sorry, I am also taking a lot of time. अब चार बातें ऐसी चल रही हैं, thoughts इतने inspiring हो रहे हैं, तो थोड़ा सा मैं भी बह जाता हूँ साथ में, right? So coming to Raina, over to you. Please share.
Thank you. I think I am enjoying this discussion as much as you are enjoying sharing, Pankaj ji. इतने अच्छे input सब लोग दे रहे हैं. I'll keep it short because I wish to hear others also, Manjari and Mansi, the double M's. So, as an entrepreneur, as a mother, as a woman, we face many challenges and obstacles. Okay, I'm going to say, as a woman, what are the obstacles I have faced genuinely. As I have grown, one biggest obstacle that I've faced is, I think I got success quick because I was very persistent at doing anything and everything without having fear and without judging myself. Okay, I went on it like a mad person. I will call myself mad because I'm mad workaholic. Okay, I love my work first before anything in life, not even myself. Okay, the second thing is so the first bias that I got was age bias. Okay, people coming up to me and saying, आप तो खाली 25 साल के हो, आप हमें KRAs और KPIs कैसे समझाओगे? How can you teach me a leadership training? How can you get me the ROI of what I deserve? That was the first thing, and in spite of me having a master's in IT, I jumped into marketing. I jumped into becoming the Asia Pacific head for a marketing project at Singapore and at US called ETL. ETL is a home learning kit for mothers and children to work at home on themselves. Okay, so I was their head of marketing and I was only around 24 or 25. Okay, so after that, getting into training world and being judged every day that somebody who's as young cannot support HR leaders, cannot support entrepreneurs, cannot become a founder of her own company at a very young age. And I used to literally tell my husband coming back, अरे यार मुझे लगता है ना, मुझे ना white color कुछ डाई लगा के जाना चाहिए, कुछ चश्मा वश्मा डाल के जाना चाहिए, तभी लोग मुझे seriously लेंगे कि मैं कोई old हूँ या. So I really took pains of saying, hey, I'm going to work on my value and not on my structure, what people see from outside. Once they get value, they will probably call me. And that was one bias that I broke as a woman, that I'm not going to change myself because people want me to change. Whether it is about being young or whether you're, of course, presentability is important. Of course, how you communicate is important. Even the pause and the silence was important for me to say, hey, I'm not okay with what you're telling me. And that made quite a lot of difference. So I will call it woman age bias. I will not call it age bias. I will call it woman age bias. With men, it's okay. Okay. The second was gender bias. Why gender is, even in posh, people think it's only for women. Even in any other field, image, अच्छा image मतलब सिर्फ लड़कियों को ही आपको जाके सिखाना चाहिए. मतलब men लोग को पता है कि उनको टाई पहनना है, कोट पहनना है, सूट पहनना है, and they are all good to go. Okay, so I don't understand what is this. मतलब when you are supporting society, the law also says the laws are made for citizens. It says it's for everybody, for all, LGBTQ, for women, for men, for other genders. लेकिन हमने क्यों ऐसे इक्वेट करके रखा है कि हर एक चीज सिर्फ एक महिला के लिए है या एक पुरुष के लिए है या बच्चे के लिए नहीं है. साइबर सेफ्टी हो तो सिर्फ माँ बाप को ही समझना चाहिए, बच्चे को सेफगार्ड नहीं करना चाहिए. सो आई कुड नॉट अंडरस्टैंड दिस, सो आई ब्रोक दैट सेफ्टी इज फॉर ऑल. जेंडर बायस, सो एज बायस हो गया, जेंडर बायस हो गया. And whatever obstacle I could face is that asking help is most important, and showing that even the most amazing leader can be vulnerable, humble, empathetic. I might look as the most nerdest person, but I'm there to help. And finally saying no. Okay, if I don't want to do it, I don't do it. Nobody can budge me from that. No matter it is a man, it is your husband, it is your father, your father-in-law, your in-laws, your parents or the society. अगर आपके माइंड से वो नहीं हाँ है तो वो ना ही होना चाहिए. आप उसको कैसे पैकेज करके कैसे आदमी को बोलते हो, that is a skill. But no means no in terms of taking projects, in terms of having your own terms of working, in terms of understanding another person's difficulty. You have to learn how to say no. So these were different obstacles and biases that I underwent and I broke. And I want Mansi and Manjari also to share their aspects. So over to you.
Yeah, great takeaways. Learn the art of saying no. It's not always yes. हस्बैंड ने बोला किसी भी चीज के लिए always yes. बॉस ने बोला yes. बच्चों ने बोला yes. पड़ोसी ने बोला yes. Right, Rena, good. Thank you so much for very, the nice contribution to this podcast. Now coming to Manjari. Manjari ji, over to you.
थैंक यू पंकज जी. मेरा जो सबसे पहला ऑब्स्टेकल था वो मैं खुद थी. बिकॉज एज आई शेयर्ड, extremely progressive parents in terms of education of a girl child. They made sure that despite of all odds, my education must go on. So except for ships, except for Hawai Jahaj, helicopter and train, there had been all modes of transport जिससे जिनके थ्रू मैं अपने घर से अपने स्कूल तक गई हूँ. So that was a distance of almost 10 kilometers. And obviously that became possible only because I had such great parents. So I think it corroborates that my mindset was the biggest obstacle I had, because मुझे कोई aim ही नहीं था जिंदगी में. The day that aimlessness waved off, उसके बाद से journey shifted. Later in this phase of life which I am holding currently, जिस flow में अभी हैं, as a social worker. See, when we started working in 2013-14 on small things, on small levels, small scales, so छोटे से applications डालते थे हम, like parks बनवाने हैं, सड़कें बनवानी हैं, sanitation ensure करना है, road side lighting करानी है. तो ये सारे streams में होता ये था, we used to go put our first application and within 3 to 4 months the things used to get done. मतलब एक पूरी सड़क बनके तैयार हो जाना, it used to be sort of achievement. Obviously, a lot of role was played through my legal knowledge and maybe the selling skills I learned during my professional days. So the small level of work that accumulated and it became a bunch of lot of work. So there was a group of friends who kept on pushing me that what is stopping you working freelance? I mean, stopping you registering yourself as an organization. And the carefreeness still was there into me. Working as a freelance is another part of life. It's just volunteering, and having an organization becomes a full-time responsibility. So trust me, I was never very much keen to get into a full-time responsibility. I wanted to remain in that state of enjoyment. But because it was consistent, persistent from all across that you should register as an organization, ये projects आते हैं, वो projects आते हैं, इतना budget है, ये वो. So I said, ठीक है, चलो करके देखते हैं. That's how Jijivisha Society was born. And धीरे धीरे करके in an year or so, I started realizing that the whole of the responsibility of raising funds, it's somewhere or the other lying solely upon one shoulder. The other's inclination was to get the society registered and then start getting into all those means and measures for which the NGOs are known. So बहुत एक टाइम में मैं बहुत झगड़ालू होती थी in my college days. फिर मेरा प्रोफेशनल जर्नी एंड बहुत सारी चीजों ने ये सिखाया कि आई शुड काम डाउन अ बिट. फिर मैं इतनी ज्यादा काम डाउन हो गई कि जहां पे नो बोलना चाहिए वहां पे भी नहीं बोल पाती थी. पर अंदर इट वाज ईटिंग माय इनर कॉन्शियसनेस. 1-1.25 साल मुझे ये एक्सप्लेन करने में लग गए कि नो, जिजीविशा सोसाइटी विल नॉट एंटरटेन एनी ऑफ द मैल प्रैक्टिसेस. हमें मुश्किल आती है, आसानी आती है, जो भी है चलेंगे, वैसे बहुत होगा तो क्लोज कर देंगे, लेकिन मोटिव नहीं है, ऑब्जेक्टिव ही नहीं. सो वो जो 2 से 2.5 साल का टेन्योर था विच वेयर आई हैड टू कम्बैट दिस कॉन्सेप्ट कि नहीं, रॉन्ग प्रैक्टिसेस आर नॉट अलाउड हियर. पहली जीत उस ऑब्स्टेकल से लेना एक बड़ा चैलेंज था. दूसरा पार्ट कि एज एट वर्क प्लेसेस हम जनरली वी टेक इट फॉर वेरी ग्रांटेड कि वी कैन टॉक टू अदर पर्सन इन एनी पॉसिबल मैनर, राइट. किसी को भी स्कोल्ड कर सकते हैं, किसी के भी सामने हैरेस कर सकते हैं, चिल्ला सकते हैं, इसको जनरल ट्रेंड माना जाता है. आई स्टिल इट पेन्स मी टू लिसन फ्रॉम मेनी ऑफ द लीडर्स कि लोगों को जब तक जूते की नोक पे नहीं रखो दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड. इट्स अ कॉमन सेइंग in many of the sales professionals general conversation. So I had to break this stereotype as well. For me it was very clear, be it our helper जो फावड़ा चलाते हैं उनसे लेके मुझ तक, we are all supposed to talk to each other with a dignified manner. It was another part of obstacle. So धीरे धीरे करके we are trying to come out of it. Up to much extent it has already overcome. बट इन प्रोफेशनल जर्नी अगर हम ऑब्स्टिकल्स की बात माने तो दिस वाज द पार्ट. बाकी जेंडर बायस एंड एज बायस, यस दे वर पार्ट ऑफ इट, पर उनको मैं उतना मेजर नहीं मानना चाहती हूँ, because I could work out of it. As I say that I'm magical Manjari, so the magic keeps working for me, and I believe good things are possible. I just have to create that in my own mindset.
Very nice. So this magical Manjari is getting, it's very enlightening. Yeah. सो मंजरी जी, आपका जो नाम है ना मंजरी, मैं बताऊं बचपन की मेरी यादें आती हैं। मैं ये जो तुलसी की जो वो नहीं होती, जब उसमें जो डालते हैं जो, तो वहाँ आप यू पुट इन द सॉइल, तो रेनी सीजन में उसके पौधे निकल आते हैं, तो दैट्स द मंजरी, राइट?
जी जी, दैट इज द
है
मंजरी.
ना?
फिर आम के जो फल आते हैं, वो फल के पहले वाली जो स्टेज होती है, दैट इज ऑल्सो आम्र मंजरी.
ओके, अच्छा अच्छा। तो मंजरी कैन बी एनी विद एनी प्लांट, बट आई एम एसोसिएटिंग मोर विद तुलसी, क्योंकि बचपन से वो तुलसी घर में लगती थी ना, तो उससे ज्यादा एसोसिएटेड था। ओके, वेरी नाइस। नाउ कमिंग टू मानसी। मानसी, प्लीज हेल्प अस।
So, coming to obstacles, I think I face an obstacle every minute. You just saw today morning what happened. I have an obstacle everywhere in life. But let me tell you one big story about obstacle. So this was April 2014. I began my practice in December 2013. This was April 2014. And so that time we used to have physical seminars. We used to take up places. And so I was an invited speaker to a seminar. And there I was talking, and there I met an elderly gentleman. He must have been 60 plus. And he said, I want to come and meet you in your office. I said, okay. And the next day, very diligently, he did come to office. And we were having a chat. Even he was asking me, what do you do? And I was explaining to him. And, when you are at 60, when you've been training for like 40 years, you come with a different experience. And this gentleman was also IIT IIM. And here I am, Sida Sada person from Somaya. I mean, no great college, no illustrious career, nothing. And this gentleman was like big. And in the course of the conversation, he asked me, how do you make your business decisions? And I said, sir, I just take all my decisions from my heart. If it feels right, I do it. If it doesn't feel right, I don't do it. He looked at me square and he said, very, 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 I don't know how many veries he said. And then he said, very wrong, Mansi. You will fail. At that moment, when he said that, ऐसे ना आंखों के सामने अंधेरा छा गया. I started in December 2013. April 2014, I have an IIT IIM graduate with almost 40 years of illustrious experience in training telling me you will fail. I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. It was numbing. And I just said, okay. I didn't know how to react. But here I am in 2023 and I think I'm doing reasonably well for myself. So, I think obstacles come in various forms. My other obstacles have been, I started when my second child was 3. My daughter, who's the elder one, was 8. When children are so small, they are plagued with sickness. You have to see their studies. Parent-teachers meeting hoti hai. वो बच्चा स्कूल में रोने लगेगा, मुझे घर जाना है. All those kind of things happen. But I think somewhere you've got to like manage each of those, manage home, and then also manage your work. The next obstacle has been I'm a first-gen entrepreneur. And उसके पहले I've been in a professional world. जब आप HR में होते हैं, आपको पता होता है आपकी सैलरी इस दिन आने वाली है, your bank account is credited, आपका मैसेज आ जाता है, आपके बैंक अकाउंट में पैसे आ गए. But when you are an entrepreneur, there are months when the money doesn't come in. And when it comes in, sometimes it'll come in so big कि वो सारे महीने आपके हो जाएंगे. वो जो scale होता है ना, when it's absolutely low, when the money is not coming in, and when it's absolutely high, when there's a lot of money coming in. As a first-gen entrepreneur, it took me a lot of time to absorb that shock coming from the background of having your salary come in every week. There's also a problem of being the first-gen entrepreneur. When you are working with somebody, especially if you work in HR, because I worked in HR, I can tell you, HR has all good bosses. Trust me. They actually handhold you and ensure that you do well in life. But when you are on your own, you are responsible for every decision that you take. And जब गिरते हैं ना, तो मुंह के बल गिरते हैं और इतना दर्द होता है कि उठना भी बहुत मुश्किल होता है. So that's another disadvantage of being a first-gen entrepreneur. and I had to learn everything from scratch in my business. आप मुझसे बोलो, the only thing that I knew well because of my qualification was how to deliver a training program. Because I have a PG in HR, because I've worked in HR, that was the only thing I knew. I did not know कि marketing क्या होता है, sales क्या होता है, finance क्या होता है. मुझे ये भी नहीं पता था कि आपको tax भरना पड़ता है. I mean, मैं client से पैसा लेती हूँ तो मुझे tax भरना होता है. I mean, what logic? Yeah, I had to learn everything on my own. And then came 2016-17 when I also had to learn social media. So it's like, and now I'm also learning AI. There is no escape. So as a first gen entrepreneur, you have so many obstacles. As a parent, you have so many obstacles. And trust me, you have a lot of obstacles from your fraternity, because all the time your fraternity is trying to show you, अरे यार तुम तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते, तुम आगे नहीं बढ़ सकते. And despite that, you just have to keep moving ahead. Thank you, sir.
Amazing. I recently, interviewed Mr. Prabir Jha on my channel, right? And he said, he also started his entrepreneur journey. And he said very well, Pankaj, in my life, I made around 50 CHROs. Made means people got promoted during his tenure and his coaching like this. But he said, when I started, this journey, they all got vanished. So the support, the business which I am getting, this all support in the business comes from the people I do not at all know who they are, who are they, right? So what you said is very right. So much of resistance from everywhere. In spite of them, if you are determined, if you are there to face all these obstacles, all the no's, right? So I remember here there is a guy called Les Brown. Hope you would have heard about his story. He said it very right, that he wanted to become a radio jockey, right? And he approached that radio station head, 7 times. Then the head got, mad about, why are you coming every time? We do not have any, place. There is a person already there. Then one fine day he said that I'm just thinking that person might have died. So what he said that try, do not leave, your persistence, your commitment really pays you a lot. And this is the only the currency and the determination for the success. I learned so many things, from my son himself, in my home. Yeah, he is now he is big, but the way, he started his journey in the talking to the clients and everything, you can learn the bit by bit, piece by piece, and he is off. And, when once you become entrepreneur, you are 24 hours, 24/7. I see he conducts meeting with his team members around till, 2 a.m. in the morning. So I said, what were you doing? He said, Papa, I was talking to the client. I was talking to my US client, this client, that client. So you do not know from where the opportunity will come. Right. So a wonderful thing. And I think that this is going to be, very helpful for all the audience, especially the women entrepreneurs, aspiring, women entrepreneurs, those who really wanted to do something.